Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a super highly requested topic, the absolutely fascinating and, yeah, let's be honest, sometimes really painful timeline of puppy teething. So, whether you're bringing home your very first dog or you're a seasoned pro just needing a quick refresher, knowing exactly what's going on inside your puppy's mouth is literally essential, not just for their health, but for your sanity too. We're going to break this whole teething timeline down step by step, figure out what's happening under the gums to cause all those wild behavioral changes, and most importantly, save your favorite pair of shoes from total destruction. Okay, here's our roadmap. We're going month by month. Months 1 and 2, months 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then month 7 and beyond. After that, we'll talk about spotting trouble with retained teeth, and finally, teething relief and care. All right, let's kick things off with section 1, months 1 and 2, the arrival of baby teeth. During the very first 2 to 4 weeks, your puppy is totally dependent. They're still nursing, their eyes have just opened, and honestly, there really isn't much going on in the dental department just yet. But wow, does that change fast. By weeks 4 to 6, your puppy is going to erupt exactly 28 tiny, razor-sharp baby teeth. Yup, 28. Clinically, we call these deciduous teeth, and this whole process happens in a flash. Practically overnight, these little guys are fully equipped to start exploring the world in the only way they know how, with their mouths. Those first sharp incisors in canines erupt right at the very front of the jaw. Basically, they're perfectly positioned to do the heavy lifting of grabbing and tearing. And you know, this biological timing, it's definitely no accident. It happens exactly when the breeder starts weaning the litter off nursing and transitioning them onto soft puppy food. Moving right along to section 2, months 3 and 4, the teething begins. Around weeks 12 to 16, that's usually the sweet spot when you bring your new puppy home. And because of that timing, you might actually start finding little rice-sized baby teeth scattered around the house, embedded in a toy or just laying on the rug. But hey, if you don't find a single one, don't panic. It's super common and completely safe for puppies to just swallow those tiny teeth while they eat. Now let's be real, this transition phase, it can be rough on both of you. It's almost always accompanied by a sudden, intense uptick in destructive behavior around the home. So how do you know if your puppy is actually teething, or if they're just being a naturally mischievous puppy pushing boundaries? Well, you'll want to carefully watch out for a few telltale signs. Red, inflamed, and even slightly bleeding gums are pretty standard right now. You might also catch some noticeably smelly breath, excessive drooling that definitely wasn't there before, or maybe you notice they're chewing their food way more slowly and carefully than usual. All of these symptoms stem from the exact same thing: deeply sore gums, rapidly shifting hormones, and this overwhelming urge to soothe their painful mouths on literally anything they can sink their teeth into. Next up is section 3, months 5 and 6, also affectionately known as the shark phase. Let's look at how this ramps up into a period of really intense dental turnover. So here's the timeline of how those deciduous baby teeth actually fall out. First to go are the small front incisors. Then, those super sharp fang-like canines drop out. And finally, around week 24, the larger premolars in the back are lost. The biology behind this is so cool. As the permanent adult teeth develop down in the jawbone, they push upward. When they do that, the roots of the baby teeth are actually biologically absorbed by the puppy's body. That's exactly why they feel so wiggly right before they pop out. And right as those baby teeth are falling out, the permanent adult teeth are erupting on exactly the same schedule. It's mostly a one-for-one replacement system. But notice that the adult molars arrive between 4 to 7 months. Well, puppies don't actually have baby molars. So when those big adult molars come in, they're cutting through thick gum tissue for the very first time. As you can imagine, that adds a whole new layer of discomfort for your growing dog. All right, section 4, month 7 and beyond, the final smile. By the time your pup hits 7 to 8 months of age, this entire 7.5-month biological marathon is finally coming to an end. And the grand prize for all that growing, chewing, and drooling? Your dog now has a full, permanent set of 42 teeth. Just to put that into perspective for a second, that's exactly 10 more teeth than an adult human has. That is a ton of hardware packed into one little mouth. The big takeaway here is that by 8 months, those adult teeth should be fully set in place. Now, sure, there's always a little variation depending on your dog's specific breed and size, but 8 months is the absolute benchmark. If things aren't looking fully formed by then, it definitely warrants some attention. Which brings us to section 5, spotting trouble with retained teeth, and when to visit the vet. Look, while this whole timeline is a totally natural evolutionary process, things can and sometimes do go wrong. You really need to be doing regular oral exams at home, just gently lifting the puppy's lips to catch clinical issues early before they become permanent, painful problems. One major red flag is what veterinary professionals call a Class 1 malocclusion, specifically based narrow canines. This happens when the jaw length is totally normal, but the lower baby canines stick straight up into the roof of the mouth instead of tipping outward like they should. Ouch, right? Those sharp baby teeth literally indent the puppy's upper gums or their soft palate. If your puppy is suddenly head shy when you go in for a pet, or if they have this intense obsessive need to nibble, this incredibly painful condition might be the culprit. You also want to watch out for retained teeth. Normally, you'd see a healthy, properly aligned bite. But sometimes a baby canine just stubbornly refuses to leave, getting trapped right next to the thick, incoming adult tooth. Because adult teeth are programmed to erupt on the inside of the baby teeth, a retained baby tooth will crowd and permanently displace the adult tooth. This misalignment traps food, causes early tartar buildup, and almost always requires a vet to surgically extract it under anesthesia. Besides retained teeth, you've got to keep a diligent eye out for severe danger signs. A mild fever, totally normal during the height of teething, but if it spikes above 102.5 degrees Fahrenheit, you need to contact a vet immediately. The same goes for large amounts of bleeding, profound lethargy, or if they completely refuse to eat, even soft, appetizing food. Sometimes, misplaced adult teeth can even cause severe structural trauma, like an oronasal fistula, which is literally a hole forming directly between the mouth and the nasal cavity. Catching any of this early is just absolutely vital. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Section 6, teething, relief, and care. Saving your shoes and soothing their gums. Thankfully, most puppies get through this turbulent phase just fine with a little proactive help from you. Let's talk actionable solutions for relieving that discomfort, redirecting their chewing, and setting up a lifetime of good dental hygiene. Providing cold, textured items is hands down the best way to soothe those aching gums. A frozen plain mini bagel? Amazing. Frozen dog-safe fruits, like maybe some banana, but absolutely no grapes or raisins, those are toxic, are great too. Even a tightly twisted frozen dish towel works absolute wonders. But here is the big rule. Never give a teething puppy rock-hard ice cubes. They can actually fracture those fragile baby teeth. And please, never, ever pull a loose tooth yourself. Puppy teeth have surprisingly long roots that can easily snap off under the gum line, leaving a dead root that will inevitably cause a massive, painful infection. Just let them fall out naturally. Once their mouth is feeling a bit better and those adult teeth are settling in, it's time to build those lifelong habits. Start slow so you don't traumatize them. First, just get them used to you touching their muzzle during calm moments. Then, gently scrub their teeth and gums with a silicone finger brush. Eventually, you'll graduate to a soft bristled toothbrush. And, I cannot stress this enough, absolutely never use human toothpaste. A lot of human brands contain xylitol, an artificial sweetener that is highly toxic and potentially fatal to dogs even in tiny amounts. You have to use canine-specific toothpaste. Finally, don't forget that their diet actually plays a huge mechanical role in keeping those brand new teeth clean going forward. Puppies raised strictly on an all-wet food diet are much more likely to develop heavy tartar and early-onset gum disease. Adding in age-appropriate, high-quality dry kibble acts like a natural mechanical scrubber. Every single time they crunch down, it gently scrapes plaque off all 42 of those brand new teeth. So here's the ultimate reality check for all dog owners. The chaotic, shoe-destroying puppy teething nightmare might finally be over, but keeping that incredible 40-tooth smile pearly white and pain-free is a lifelong commitment. We just explored the massive biological marathon your puppy endures to build that smile in just a few short months. But are you truly prepared to step up and brush those teeth every single day for the rest of their life? Think about it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.